G'day, it's the weekly Waffle, Racetrack Ralphy Horowitz, the grand old flag edition of the weekly Waffle.
Right, you've won a match.
The D's.
Back.
1 quarter in a row. You beauty. Racetrack Ralphy Horowitz, the man who would be known as the voice of reason, Danny Power, were Jared Waitley not to have already taken that title.
Stole it off when I had it.
Yeah, it was just wrong. Just wrong. But as we always do, we'll have a look back on Caulfield, or the Melbourne Metropolitan meeting on week part 1 and part 2. We'll chat about some issues in racing. But at Caulfield, the bookies got the better of it, Dan. There was some truck loading and the trucks broke down. Unfortunately.
Isn't that a good thing if the bookies get a better of it? We want bookies to be happy. We want them to so they can offer us better odds next week.
Generous guys.
That much money this week.
That's exactly right. Some of them even broke even. But there's an overview. The track raced perfectly. The rail was out 7. Yeah. Usual Caulfield. You know, you want to be there as a rule. But the ones that they identified the truckload, African Pulse got beaten, Elite L got beaten, Club Command got beaten. So good luck if you found them from there. Managed to find one at reasonable odds, and we'll talk about it anyway, but not happy overall.
Right.
First race, Tiara Zoo. It might be stakes quality. Didn't see it going down the outside rail in my speed map though, Dan.
Well, they don't often win when they do that.
No.
They go to the outside fence. It was like a road out there. I don't know whether you could actually on the ground mics you could hear its hoof noise as it went past the post. It was like a concrete road. I think it found the better going.
That wasn't Vlad Duric's bell evacuating, was it?
Hey. So, actually, it'd be a scary thing to ride a horse that does a right-hand turn going full pelt like that. But it was pretty impressive. Go Waterhouse sending down a few more horses. Second horse, Summer Meteors, is a half to Samaretti. I believe it's got a lot of improvement left in it, so
well, it was
the race might stand up pretty well.
It was respected but wasn't smashed in the market, which showed it's got ability, but they were just hoping it would improve from there. It was average out, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a blinker horse, so there's probably a couple of things to come from that.
The winner's quite smart.
It was. This was the only thing I can hang my head on for the day, Dan. Lucky Penny, who came off a fan...
He little away.
Darren, it's actually, I've done
this. Never does that.
The 9 millionth and 12th time he's led all the way in a race at Caulfield, the Gouch.
That's just good, isn't he?
Now, Lucky Penny's trial was fantastic at Tatura, which actually was the fastest time they produced as a good horse. I think Alpha Proxima was 3rd. So over the flying trip, smashed the line. What you wanted to see was a little bit of market love. When it was $3.30 out to $5, you know what I said about what happened to Vlad Duric inside. Mine was doing similar, but then it come back into 440. You just need that late little bit of love.
I think you've got to take note of some stables. Peter Morgan and his new training partner Craig Whitson.
Yep.
Peter Morgan essentially doesn't take his horses to the races not close to being ready. You know, so I would think if you fancy it, have a bet.
Dean Lester made a really good point on RSN about Dwayne Dunn then went outside Darren Gauci. She's got 2 great judges of pace in front. Yeah. And what sometimes happens, and this is why you do the maps and also try and learn from races in hindsight, sometimes it'll be a jockey with no idea outside the lead. Yeah. And he'll ruin his own chance, he'll ruin the chance of the leader, and he'll change the whole dynamics of a race. In this case, they didn't go too slow,
went even pace.
But it was an even pace set up by 2 smart jockeys up the front.
Gauci, no matter who he's riding, doesn't go slow when he leads.
No.
He rates the horse.
So why do others try it? Rock Princess, second up, another good run, dry track. It's a wet tracker, so if it's running this well on dry tracks after 2 runs and it's a miler, it's the one to watch if the weather comes. Yep. Now, race 3 on the program. I risked Cosmic Causeway, even though I firmly stated this is a speed map race, was going to walk in front. I stupidly thought one of the jockeys might have shown initiative, and not necessarily Caitlin Mellion on Fabriano, the 61 shot.
Jockeys.
Yeah.
I told you this.
I'm struggling to think myself. I would expect other people to think. So
I thought it was a really good. I thought it was nearly a moral as it was Cosmic Causeway. I was always going to be sitting up on the pace.
Made its own luck, as they say, with Peter Moody horses, and it did. Precedence, probably 3 wide, no cover with 60.5 kilos out the back, making no decision whatsoever. Mightn't have been the crispest tactic, but who knows? It's easy from the grandstands.
It was beaten 10 lengths, so that's...
Yeah, well, we'll see next start what that meant, because they dashed home, so it was no good whatsoever. They should have done something in the race. Yeah. In the 4th race, you got to stop arguing with stats, Dan. I argued with stats. African Pulse had won 5 races in dynamic style, first up over 1,000 metres. Yeah. And that were the only 5 races you'd ever won. So I thought, well, that's all right. That's been a quirk of stats. No, it wasn't. Another unplaced run.
But now you know.
Now you know. Don't argue with stats sometimes. So it was truck loaded.
He was disappointing though, wasn't he? Because even though he was sort of there and wide, he just didn't give when he asked him. And he's got a 3 kilo claim on his back. He's 54.5. It's a race he should have surged into it.
On talent, no doubt whatsoever. If you're on it as written, you're entitled to be a bit narky. The other thing that's actually, again, little things can change a race. Dusty Star gets scratched at the barriers. Drawn inside, it's a speed horse. It would have sat second line. All of a sudden, the grid changes. So they're the little things to think of.
Listening to April Matthews after the race, she made a big point of Billy Egan's affinity with Vatican.
Yep.
So take note of that. Some jockeys get on really well with horses, and Billy Egan obviously knows this horse because he's a quirky sort of horse.
And they talk about everything's got its price, but when you say 26's Vatican has got some ability, well, that's when you can sort of chip away.
You're easily bought. Everything's got its price with you.
No doubt. And Mathon was a good run. That's its second one. You wanted to see 2 in a row, and now it's done 2 in a row.
Now, did you know that if we go back in 4 years, close to 4 years since Black Caviar retired, 4 years ago, who ran in that race?
The Mighty Mare.
4 years ago.
Amathon
ran at the same.
Very much so.
There you go.
There you go. He probably hasn't kicked on as much as her.
No.
In Lead L, I did get this part.
So what happened
right.
here, Lead L?
Well, Alfie Matthews has a theory here on RSN. He said that this horse doesn't know if it's Arthur or Martha, given that at Moonee Valley, flew the gates, kept pressing because the leader railed out, and then he sits up the last 100 when the race is run. He reckons it's a bad thing to do for a horse.
Okay.
It makes some sense. So he sits outside the lead instead of pressing again. Then the horse gets into this comfort zone. This is a very strong race.
Right.
So Hazard, this is when you take notice of the markets on first up horses. Every time it was getting to 11 or 12, particularly on Betfair, it was getting taken.
Yeah.
This was going to run a good race. Then the gates open, and instead of sitting 6th, it sits 3rd, right up a Lead L's court.
Yeah.
And from there, it was going to be hard to beat.
I thought it was pretty impressive.
And it was impressive, yeah. I mean, I like the horse. It did the right thing by me during the summer, and it's going to go on for it. It's in for a good prep. So it ran well. Obviously, well, you know what Elite L brings to the table. What else we got there? From Marisa was good. Luke Nolan has to ride it. Formula Fair, but Ava's Delight. It just couldn't get going early, but it's a miler. It beat Super Cool.
Yeah.
Might go to the Bull.
I'd say do we Bull.
There we go. Race 6, pretty plain race. Club Command didn't lead with aggression, which is unusual for Luke Nolan. He sat up on it. I don't know if this horse needs racing because Lyndon Meach puzzlingly didn't show much, push on it.
So
2 starts back.
So you're surmising that Moody said just be a bit easier and he's not quite ready.
He did miss a lot of racing.
So what are they aiming him for?
Win a championship.
Yeah.
So maybe that's all that out because they went very slowly early. This is one of those rare situations where missing the start suited a horse, speediness, and a slow pace suited a back marker because he's always had a dynamic 600 metre sprint, this horse.
Yeah. He was the only horse in the race, apart from under Rifle, who went left and shifted and right.
Yep.
That didn't get a run, but he was the only horse in the race that surged. I liked his run. I thought he showed a touch of class. He ran over the top of the leaders. It was a pretty impressive run.
But
Daniel Stackhouse, very good.
And well done Daniel Stackhouse because he rode like crap 2 weeks ago at Moonee Valley. Just put it aside, went to Adelaide, rode winners, and then rode a double on Saturday. And he's obviously going well. Race 7, this was an impossible race. I did pot a lot of the favourites because there was 2 form races that most of the favourites come from. I didn't like it, so I thought this is a different form race.
Yeah, I meant to go back and have a study of this race, but they're all over the place here.
Well, arousing
the winner was very good.
And it had different form.
And the rest are in a block.
Yeah, so there's 4 lengths of arousing suspicion to second, and then there's 2 lengths between the next 9 horses, which tells you, seriously, they all have their chance.
It tells you the arousing suspicion's pretty good, at least 2 or 3 kilos better than these, and worth following.
But it was also in what you mentioned this a few times, Vince Accardi, dailysectionals.com.au, his sweet spot that he talks about. It's a high pressure race when they go really hard. You want to see that horse that's about 4 to 5 lengths, and it was just asleep on midfield. So some of them out the back were too far back, and the ones up the front were gas. So he was in the right spot, but it had the different form from the Caulfield and from the Sandown race, which is where most of the favourites come from.
They put the money on Medvedev.
Medvedev pulled up sore,
Okay.
so it's a forgive.
Excuse it.
Exactly. In the last race, Danny O'Brien's horses, as soon as they go over City Link, they just They just don't go at Caulfield. So the two, I've done 3 stinkers in recent times, which was one of Danny's Zavi at Caulfield, which was your man's Bjorn Baker's horse, Murray Baker's horse. No, Murray Baker's Stayer Serpent. Well, this one was a double. This was a Danny O'Brien horse at Caulfield and a Kiwi in Crazelberg, and you just when it was 320 out to lots of $5.
Caulfield Cup winner.
Yeah.
So let's not over.
I know, but his stats at Flemington are so far superior to his stats at Caulfield.
He targets the Flemington.
Exactly. But anyway, that all added up to Castleberg running like crap. But you know.
But look, you got these Kiwi horses coming out. You just got to be wary of their form, and they change stables. It had peaked in a New Zealand derby a month ago, 5 weeks ago, wherever it was, and it was trying to come back up again. I think it's sometimes very hard to do.
Hunger is honest and average. It's pretty average. But here's a couple of winners for you in riding. Prince of Penzance just missed. Super sprint on it. It was Blinker's first time, so it's one to follow. Yeah. And who ran fourth? Help me here.
Baxter.
No, not Baxter. Gold medals was just the
ran
spot.
7.
Ran 7. Okay. Ran 7. Sorry, and in front of it, Sweetersbro out the back, worked home. Sweetersbro.
Gold medals is fine. I think he's fine. Will he get beyond the 1800?
Gold medals? Possibly not. Possibly not.
Because I'm thinking that they might take him to the Bull, but maybe not.
We're running out of tape. Anyway, all that stuff in writing is down as a postscript on the Racetrack Ralphy app. If you bought it, you get the postscript free. So there you go. Part 2 is issues. Next.